Hey, what's up, what's up? This is Australian Strongman. I just finished a squat session and I got thinking during the session about the squat and how it applies to different athletes, so like strongmen, powerlifters, Olympic weightlifters. And I got thinking that with strongmen, we are athletes, and it's probably better in our interest to lean more towards the Olympic weightlifting side than the powerlifting side. What I mean by that is that you want to be as mobile as possible. So basically what I want to talk about today is the squat and how the squat should be applied to strongmen and how you use it to benefit yourself as a strongman athlete. So I'll begin by asking you to look at Olympic weightlifters and notice something about them. They don't believe in using knee sleeves or even a belt for that matter. And they're some of the most elite raw squatters on the planet. They're extremely athletic, and the two major things I see them doing differently to strongmen is one, they always squat well below parallel, and two, you will never see them using knee wraps. And this is something I'm seeing in the strongman world a lot lately. It's becoming more and more common, is the overuse of knee wraps, and I think it's a problem. You know, I'm seeing people who can't even squat 200 kilos using knee wraps, and it's insane. And most people in general just don't squat deep enough. Now I'm a little bit guilty of this too. Although I do squat below parallel all the time, I probably could go a little bit deeper sometimes. I could probably pause my reps more often as well. But you see, the thing is, as strength athletes, we always want to put more and more weight on the bar, and you know, it's hard not to do that. So I understand that we always got to try and find a way to move more weight because, you know, for a lot of us, it is ego. So I'll use an example. Let's say you squat 200 kilos raw. Good depth, solid strength, then you want to lift more. So you go to 220 kilos, but you're not quite strong enough to do it the same way you did the 200 kilos. So you compromise by cutting your depth short. Then you want to up it to 250 kilos. So you throw on the wraps and you push out this half squat, which a lot of weightlifters wouldn't even consider a squat. Yeah, sure, you move 50 kilos more, but your raw squat is still exactly the same. So how has this helped your leg strength? The truth is, it hasn't really helped you at all. You don't gain any carryover to your strongman events. When you look at the human body, it is designed for a full range of motion. Same way with your knees. Your knees are exactly the same. You straighten your leg out, and you can pretty much get the exact same degree of flexion in your legs as with your elbow. So it doesn't make sense to just do a squat and go halfway, you know, when the body is made to go the full way. So in my opinion, if you can't squat a particular weight without going full range of motion, then you probably shouldn't be squatting that weight, period. A lot of you might disagree with that, but just in my opinion, you're more susceptible to injury, and it's just dysfunctional. So as a strongman athlete, you need the strongest legs possible to do well in your sport. Doing most of your squat work in knee wraps is not going to be as effective as doing it without knee wraps and squat to a full range of motion. I wouldn't even say you need knee sleeves per se, especially as a beginner. I was squatting 220 kilos for sets of 10 before I even bought a knee sleeve. So what I mean is, you don't use knee wraps to build leg strength. You use it to lift more weight. Same way you would use a deadlift suit. It just doesn't give you the same functional leg development as squatting without them would. So if you compete in strongman, and that's your focus, that's your goal, you're pretty much aware that the squat will almost never be used in a strongman competition. The squat for a lot of us is just a base. Squatting without wraps, A to G, and even with a pause sometimes, is going to give you the most superior leg development. Because as a strongman, it is crucial to have the best leg development possible for events. And if you're using knee wraps, then you're leaving a lot of leg development gains out there. So, new lifters, aspiring strongmen, what you do in the beginning is very, very important. Build a base. You're better off having a 200 kilo raw squat than a 250 kilo squat in knee wraps and all this other gear. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you and say that it's easy, because it's not. It takes a lot of hard work, and it's very important that when you start, to put the ego aside. The strength will come. It's going to take a bit of time, but it will come. You just got to be patient and put the work in. Ideally, you want to be leaning more towards an Olympic weightlifter type of squatter, rather than, you know, like a West Side barbell kind of squatter. You sink into your hips and then you explode out. This also results in more hypertrophy with your legs. A friend of mine who's been training with me for about 6 months, he started off when he came here, he was half squatting 100 kilos, and he had terrible squatting technique and he had very skinny legs. 6 months later, he's squatting properly, and he has had insane leg development since then. I could have just been like, yeah bro, let's throw these wraps on, you know, and let's bump your squat up another 50 kilos, you know, and all this bullshit, but he wouldn't be learning anything. And he wouldn't have the same leg development and power that he has now. Because when it comes to a strongman competition, you're not using wraps. Pretty much every event you're not going to be using wraps. So what's the point? The point is you want to be functional and you want to use the squat as a base and as a accessory to strongman training. You see what I mean? If it is mechanically possible for you to squat below parallel, then you should do it. Now, seeing as I'm not a powerlifter, I don't see the point in just doing the bare minimum, just enough to get a white light. It's stupid because I see a lot of strongman training and you're training to get your legs better for the sport, but you're training to a standard that is only good for powerlifting. It makes no sense. Obviously, it's a little bit diluted because there's a lot of mixing going on. You have a lot of powerlifters training with strongmen, and everyone's crossing over and that. So you're getting a lot of mixed techniques and whatnot. So yeah, if you want to get stronger legs in the sport of strongman, I would not go the powerlifting route. I'd go more of Olympic weightlifter route. Luckily for me, I squatted properly since the beginning, and it did me so much good. Obviously, now I have bigger legs, my range of motion is compromised, but you should still go as deep as you can. You should never need to question whether or not you hit depth. Ultimately, my main point in this video, and I know this will piss a lot of people off, but it's the truth, is that knee wraps just make you lazy. They'll make you dependent, and then eventually become a crutch for your squat training. The only thing I can think of that will make wraps kind of useful to a strongman is that you're getting used to having more weight on your back so you can handle a heavier yoke. But then why wouldn't you just squat normally, build the leg power, and just build the strength of holding weight on your back with a yoke? A lot of you might disagree, but the only people I believe that should be using knee wraps are powerlifters. I understand it's an ego thing and it's hard to go back and do something when you're lifting X amount of weight and you don't want to cut back 50 kilos or whatever it is. I get it, that's hard. I've had to do some of those things myself. That's just the way it is. Squatting without knee wraps, A to G, without wraps will make you a better strongman. You'll have more mobility, you'll be more athletic, and you'll have incredible leg power. Trust me, lose the wraps and do it the hard way, it will pay off. Unless you have a squat event in your strongman comp, there's really no need. So don't do it. Just don't do it, alright? Don't do it. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. Yeah, I'm a big believer in A to G squats, but at the end of the day, it's just my advice. You know the rest. Probably catch a lot of flack for this, but it's just a message I'm trying to get out there, and it's important. You can always be better. You can always eat a little better, you can always warm up a little better, and you can always squat a little better. On the side note, don't spread hate. Don't be a blowfly. Give back. Someone actually had the audacity to call me a fake. Someone who's fake, who squats less than me on a back squat with knee wraps, and I'm pausing my front squats A to G. What's real? And also, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually do damage to your knees over time from using knee wraps. Ooh, damn bus. You can do a lot of damage to your knees in the long term with knee wraps, from what I believe, due to the knee wraps putting a lot of pressure pushing in your patella. It's just not worth it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know your opinion. Be strong or be salty.